made one for each kid with their names on it. And so at the beginning, they all start off with the 3 chips or whatever, or do you give, how many?
I started them with like 5.
Well, you started with 5 because you were just, but then I figured they got 5 times to mess up.
No.
I'm like,
That's a lot.
no, that's too much.
Yeah.
So 3.
Believe how fast they can mess up.
Well, but that's the thing.
It's just like,
Okay.
I still don't fuck it.
If you guys ever want to look for props, you know the party stores, if they have those,
Yeah.
they usually have all kinds of stuff in there.
Right.
Party stores have stuff, they have like a whole bunch of stuff, like if you want to get prizes, just get these little airplanes or little
Dollar
cars.
Tree,
or
we're
something.
Dollar
Dollar
Tree.
Dollar Tree, party store.
Right, cent store.
Chloe?
I also was thinking, because it's similar to what her idea was, but instead of paper, you buy like these little chips.
Right.
Plastic chips.
Yes.
That way they're not
Something that's
bending
more
or
durable.
breaking.
My thing is that they need to put them away in a place where they're not messing with it, because they'll start playing with these things.
Right.
So we're trying to figure out how to implement this if we want to use it. Selena?
Yeah, we have these glass big beads in the cabinet. I wanna use those, and then we'll put them in the Primo boxes and put it under the chair so they're not touching it.
What is it? A black what?
They're these like glass, little like bead things. They're huge. So I was thinking we could use those. We have them. We have a whole box.
You use anything basically.
Yeah.
Right, you can
Right.
pretty much, we're just trying to
I'll
understand.
get like fake gold coins or something.
Right.
I have a basket where they would go and they put their little
Oh,
marker in
you
there.
wouldn't.
But I also write on the board their initials, and then when they act up, I put
A
a mark
little-
on there, and they know.
So you're
oh,
keeping track of them?
Yeah, so as I'm teaching, it's hard for me, because sometimes I don't have eight, so I just put a mark up above their, or underneath their initial, they know, oh, I just asked one.
You just lost one, yeah?
Yeah.
So these are just creative ideas to help have more order in the classroom.
Sure.
You don't have to do it, but I think I'm gonna start using it because I'm telling you, I'm having an issue. And these are 2 siblings and they're constantly fighting. I'm telling you, I'm very firm with my students and they're still, I can't believe it, they're still fighting. And I'm like, okay.
Just gotta buy a zapper.
Get the daddy t-shirt, put them both in the daddy t-shirt.
I have one in my purse, guys.
All right,
I saw a video where 2 kids were fighting, and the mom put them in their daddy t-shirt, and they had to walk around the house for like a half an hour, and they're all both in the same shirt.
all right, any questions regarding the discipline part? We're fine?
So would something that, like, I was thinking what she was saying, what if you were to hand them like 50-cent pieces? You know?
You mean
$1.
real money?
Yeah, and be like, you don't get, you're 1 less now you're down to $1. Oh, 1 less now, you're only using 50
What happens when you
cents.
have 20 kids or something?
Yeah, but all the kids need a habit and it needs to be the same. So
Right.
you can afford to give them money?
Then they're nickels.
Let's go back to nickels then.
Pennies.
I was just thinking pennies.
Yeah.
If I had all those pennies I used to have, I would have given them to you guys.
Well, okay, so at least you have the ideas, okay?
Okay.
You guys can get creative, see what
Okay.
works for you.
All right.
That's what's working for her. I'm gonna have to figure out what's gonna work for me too. So you guys are in this, we're all in the same boat. We're dealing with the same kids. So, all right.
Okay.
We do have a set of rules hanging on the wall inside the classroom junior church where they need to follow basic instructions. Raise your hand, don't just get out of your seat, don't just be talking, basic rules. So we have that, so you guys can look at them when you go into the classroom. And then it says here, after we've dealt with the student 3 times, we have to say, okay, we're taking you to your parents or your grandparents, whomever brought you. Or in this case, we'll take them to Theo Steve. And we tell them they're gonna go sit next to Theo Steve. So they already know, Theo Steve is very intimidating to the kids. They all are afraid of him. So, all right, games to use when teaching. You see in your sheet there. So we have review games. You see that? Review games are mostly used when we are doing a story. That means we're reviewing after a story. There's so many ways. Does everyone have it, the review games? Is everybody looking at it?
Memory verse games?
No, no, it's towards the beginning, right after teaching methods,
Page two.
the second,
Oh, okay.
Okay.
it's the review games.
Okay, yeah, I see.
Zonk is the first one. Zonk, is probably one of the most favorite games. Well, I came up with my own Zonk, this one. So I put points on it. I bought one for the church, so you guys have one now. And I put the word zonk on it. You see zonk?
Mm-hmm.
So all they do is they have to throw it,
Uh-huh.
and then whatever it lands on, the points, they can't get the points until they answer the question correctly.
Okay.
So I'll give you the question, you roll it, and let's say you land on 100,
Uh-huh.
but you gotta be able to answer my question. So if you're not paying attention, you're not gonna get the answers.
Right.
So that means you don't get 100 points,
Okay.
because you can't answer.
Alright.
Then the next kid. And we just keep going, and so this is a great way of doing zonk. The good thing about this is that it's erasable, so you can use it in many different ways. You just gotta make sure that you're using the proper marker, because I accidentally thought I was using the regular eraser one, and it was a real one. I'm like,
Dang.
you know, over here. So I'm like, oh no, gotta make sure it's the eraser kind,
Right.
erasable type of marker. Yes,
If you accidentally use a permanent marker on a whiteboard, you can go over it with an erasable one, and it just wipes right off.
Yes,
That's very true.
yes, it's
So in other
true.
words, on a regular board, or
Yes.
even with this,
Yes,
so in other words, if you
If you use a permanent marker.
yeah,
And you wanna get it off, you use a dry eraser marker and just glue
And
it
then
on
just
top
go
of
over
it,
it.
and it'll come off.
oh, well, that's good to know, I didn't know that. Boy, I was over here scrubbing away. Okay, so
Right.
this is my zonk that I came up with,
Tell them what the zonk means when they get zonked.
oh yeah, so if you land on zonk,
Uh-huh.
that means all your points are gone as
Nice.
well. So if you're playing for points, that means no points. So whoever gets the most points wins is pretty much it's just a little game.
It's 2 teams, right?
You can do individual, you can do it or two.
Oh, I
teams.
see.
It can be any way you want.
Okay.
So this is just
I
one.
think competitive.
The other way we play it, normally the points are in a bag, like a little gift bag type, a small little bag, and then the kids are going like this, and then they pull it out. If it's a zonk, no points for you, you're out, and then the next kid. But if it's points, then they want to keep going. That's the thing. You want to keep going? Yes. Okay. Well, more questions for you. Then do you see what I'm saying? So it's
Right.
almost like a little gamble what they're going through. Anyways,
Well, it's like casting lots, right? Interesting.
so
Biblically.
It's like musical chairs, one gets eliminated every time.
Okay.
I'm on
okay.
set.
The next one, review games. You got Mouse Eats the Cheese. It's the same way as doing Hangman. All it is, it's a picture. Let me see. I'll do it real quick here, so if you guys can make it out. Where's yours? So all it is, you know how you do Hangman? You got the word, so you do whatever the word is, right?
Uh-huh.
That's your word,
Uh-huh.
and it's always tied into your lessons. So what they did with the cheese, the mouse gets the cheese, so you have a little mouse, and so what they did is they do it this way. Oops. Okay, so here's the cheese. So every time they get the wrong word, the wrong letter, because I said A, nope, sorry. So now what you do is you move your mouse to the first one. And let's say, oh, it's E. Well, let's say it's E. That's fine. And then the other kid plays and they say, oh, no, sorry. And so now the mouse is getting closer and closer to the cheese. That's all it is. It's the same thing as Hangman.
Okay.
That's all that this is.
Okay.
But they called it the mouse eats the cheese. That's all it is. Soccer game. I found this where the kids are playing soccer now. And I made this game real quick. So you have the two goals. I made one red, one blue. And so the balls, you're gonna give each, all these, you have these balls. The back of the balls are gonna say their goal, or they're gonna say miss. But see, they don't know because you're gonna mix them. And they have to choose a ball, and they either get it or they don't get it. They either, so do you see what I'm saying? Just different ways of playing games. It's just so that they, and it's tied in with their lessons. Does it make
Okay,
sense?
you're asking questions.
You're asking questions, okay, so I'm gonna ask you the question, and so Beth gets it right, and now Beth gets to choose one of the balls, and
Okay,
it's either a goal or she misses.
okay.
If it's a goal, they got a point. You see what I'm saying?
All right.
So you can do this into teams, 2 teams, separate the boys and girls, separate this half and that half, you can do, does it make sense?
Yeah.
There's just different ways of playing. The baseball game is something I have it at the house, I forgot to bring it, sorry. But it's just a regular baseball game, but it's a big poster that I had. I put it on the floor, and then they toss the little beanbag. And if it lands on first base, it's so many points. Second base, so many points. Third base is so many points. You can still create the same thing on the board. Just do the diamond, and every base are the points. That's all it is. But mine is an actual picture that I bought, and I laminated, and so I bring it in, and I'll have my little bean bag, and then they just toss it, and then they like to play with it. So that's one of the games that I play with my kids.
What have you teachers found, which one could be the most
Well, once I realized,
you give?
once I found Zonk, I really like that.
They love that.
I love that.
Yeah, Zonk is still
So
at the
Zonk has
top.
been the most effective?
If you can learn to do Zonk in different ways, that'd be good.
Okay.
You have to understand, this is just peripheral stuff.
Yeah.
The main thing, of course, is the word of God.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And you also want to go over the Bible verse.
Yes.
There's different ways you can do the Bible verse. There's games you can play to help them memorize the Bible verse. And I know that you might feel overwhelmed, but that's why you want to observe
Right.
how they're doing it.
Okay.
I think it just helps you, gives you ideas. And if you're just stuck, like, look, I have this lesson, and you tell Liz, I'm not sure how to present this. She will help you, or the girls will help you. I will help you. I used to teach kids. I used to teach toddlers, 30 of them. And you know what? And you know what the secret was? Everything was 10 to 20 minutes. We would all go against the wall and we would sing songs for 10 minutes. And then from that, we would have our snack time. From that, we would have our lesson time. From that, we would have our restroom time. And everything was so regimented that it just went like this.
Okay.
See, I wasn't like, oh no, what am I gonna do? I got 30 screaming kids around me. No, we were in order. They were up there, they were singing songs. And then during the snack time, I said, okay, we're gonna play the silent game. So who's gonna be the quietest? And then someone would say something, oh, you get a beep. And they love playing that game. So you have to understand that it's a lot of, keeping them engaged and stuff. And so, if you can teach kids, you can teach adults.
Right.
Because with kids, it's just much more animated, much more involved and engaged with them. And,
Because it's hard to keep their attention.
right, and so you have to know their attention span is so short, so you gotta move on from one thing to another. And that's why you have to have the outline. Because if you don't know what you're doing, you're just gonna have kids just out of control, talking, walking around.
Right.
So you really have to have this. And that, like I said, you gotta bring your A game. You gotta be extremely prepared, over-prepared. And if you get half of the stuff you get done, great. If you don't get it all done, don't worry about it. You just want to keep them engaged.
One thing I do recommend all teachers, including seasoned teachers, do you guys write out what you're gonna do for that? You do write it out, and are you putting it in the order of how you wanna present things? Yeah, because that, Debbie, are you doing that?
No.
Okay, so what I recommend is, let me see if I have it, or did I leave it? I was trying to think.
I use a little.
Yeah,
Is there wrapping it up in-
so Okay, so you know how we gave you the order? That order for junior church and then the other one is pre-K?
Yeah, I
Okay.
do that.
Okay.
But it's off my mind. because
Okay,
I
if
don't-
you were to write it out, so in your sheet of paper, just write out, okay, your opening prayer, you already know you're doing potty, okay? Basically, you're writing, or you can use something like this and just fill it in if you like. You don't have to do the songs, you can figure out the songs you're gonna play there. But the Bible story, I would write out, I'm doing Zacchaeus chapter, this passage, and then my memory verse, I write out my memory verse, and then what game am I gonna play? I'm gonna play, the mouse gets the cheese today, and so I write my mouse get, because what happens is that you're too busy teaching, and then all of a sudden you get detoured by something, and then you're like, where did I leave out? What was I doing? And then you look, you lose your track of mind
Yes,
sometimes, and
yes.
you're like, wait a minute. Okay, let's get back. And then I realize, okay, here we're at. And then I mean, so it helps me stay organized, and that's why I always write out my outline. Always.
I mean, I write out an outline even of my lesson, and I write notes and stuff that I want to bring out, because, yeah, sometimes something happens and you get distracted, or you're like, I know there was something I wanted to bring out, and I just flip to it and I'm like, oh. Because I'm not staring, or I'm not reading off of anything, so, you know, you're going off of memory, or you're drawing,
Well,
you're illustrating.
even if it's key words to help you
Yeah.
with whatever point you wanted to bring out in that passage or something, but it just helps you stay organized and stay sane, so you don't lose.
Right.
So you're already gonna have a lesson. It's gonna give you the scripture verse. It's
Okay.
gonna give you the passage.
Mhm.
Just use that, the whole thing as a guide. You can read through it.
Mhm.
The passage they give you and the verse, you want to be able to study yourself though. Like they say, they give you the passage on Zacchaeus. You want to study Zacchaeus. You're gonna bring things out that they don't have in there. So in a sense, you're doing your own Bible lesson for yourself, and you'll be surprised how much you will learn. And so you study it. So by the time you bring it to the kids, you're just using their lesson plan as a guideline, but you should have your own lesson plan, and that's why it's important you have that outline.
Right.
So again, over prepared. Remember the tip of the iceberg. So you bring in 100%. You'll be surprised how blessed you'll be. In fact, you look forward to doing it if you're extremely prepared. Otherwise, you're gonna be dreading it.
Well, I was already thinking that this is probably gonna draw me closer to the Lord.
Amen.
It does, it does.
It's ministry, bro.
Right?
Yeah, because you do more research and you do more reading to get prepared, and it helps you, it does help you grow. It really does. I mean, I know it has for me, for you guys as well. Yeah. Let me go on to the next one. We have the crafts, and I put Samantha and Carrie there. So is this still both of you or just one of you?
Probably both of them.
Okay, so what I did is I approached Samantha and Carrie regarding crafts. Samantha and Carrie are willing to help put crafts together for the teachers, as long as we're teaching the same lesson. So in other words, if they know that they're gonna be doing, like, let's say this whole Easter time, we knew we were doing a certain order of events taking place, they would have been able to produce a craft for every week for the different teachers. The new teachers are David, Ritesh, and Tommy. They're willing to help them because they're new, but I didn't know if you guys would like the same help, or do you guys do crafts at all?
We don't generally do the crafts. We
So
do
you
more
don't
of
do
an
crafts?
activity.
You do more of activities? Okay, so if you don't need their help, then, you know, they just need to know, but I think they're gonna start working. I told them not until we're ready to start implementing the new teachers, they're gonna get started.
I noticed that the older kids like to do more of the activity. And what I did was I would separate the younger kids and the older kids. Usually the older kids wanted to do more activity stuff, the games and stuff and questions. And the younger ones wanted to do the little craft. So Kaylee used to take the younger ones and I used to take the older ones. And that's what I did because we had both ages in
Right,
there.
right.
So,
Right.
that's how we did it, but it
So,
just how we found.
well, I guess you guys have a choice. You can do activities, games, or you can do a craft. Samantha?
You're gonna separate the kids in two different classes.
I would like to separate the kids.
Are
Yeah,
we gonna
okay.
be trying to do crafts for both classes?
Well, that's what I'm trying to see, if if Tia Debbie and Beth, are you guys willing to wanna step down and work with the younger kids? Or do one of you wanna stay with junior church for now?
I think I wanna stay with the older.
Okay, so we'll leave Beth with this rotation over here. Debbie, are you okay if we put you with the younger kids? Okay, all right. So right now it'll be you, Kaylee, and Selena with the younger kids, the three. So we might have to do a three-way rotation. Okay. So back to your question.
And there's some lessons that they don't really have good craft.
And we need to just do a game. So, Ritesh and Tommy, are you guys okay? The ladies are willing to help you. Are you guys okay with maybe coming up with a game if you can come up with a craft?
Well, you have.
They'll need your help still.
They have games already. They have games.
Yeah, we have some games that I'm trying to provide for you. I don't know, but I know, Carrie, you're gonna be working with your dad as far as an aide, so you'll be helping Dad with that. And Samantha's helping Selena, and Chloe is with Beth. And right now, I think it's you three and Kaylee. We have no aide, so we're gonna have to start recruiting some aides. I think.
Backup aid, I can use the aid until we get another aid.
You mean like help another teacher in case?
Like if somebody doesn't have an aid this particular week.
Well, anybody wanna be a second aide temporarily? No? Right now, we just have three.
The only thing is Dad wanted us to do just once a month, so we gotta check the pastor on that one.
Yeah, but I think I might have to put in the bulletin that we're gonna have to see if we can get some aides, some helpers, and see who's willing, that would help.
I can ask my wife.
I was gonna see, does Dina not wanna help you?
I can
If it's just once a month?
make, or ask.
Why don't
her.
you check with her, let me know, and then we'll know if you're taking care of her now.
I will.
Okay,
Peyton has asked if she could aid before.
well, what do you
Since
guys
she's not
think?
in junior church anymore, she asked if she could.
Yeah, she has helped me before.
Who?
And maybe it
Peyton?
wasn't there.
I didn't see if she. if I
But
could
they
do
have
her
to be
Sunday
in
school,
service,
if
that's
she's
the whole
in-
thing. I had with, Austin, they don't wanna come to service at nighttime, they have to be in service
Yeah.
at nighttime.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
another
we had
thing.
that issue going on with Austin.
Austin,
He would not come to church.
and I would even told him I'd pick him up, I'd give him a call, I mean, I did everything that I possibly could, Liz even answered.
Yep.
So, they have
Yeah.
to want to learn the word of God as well.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if you, the new teachers understand that if you teach in that 1 month, that one time,
You
the
gotta
pastor
come at
wants
night.
you to come on Sunday night for that Sunday so you can
Right.
get fed.
So you're here all the time.
I know you're here anyways.
No, I know, and.
You guys are here anyways.
Does he, on the nighttime service, he teaches a different,
Yes, passage.
right,
Yes.
right.
Yeah, it's not the
But
same
what
one
I-
as in the morning.
What I do during the week, I get a chance, I get on the YouTube,
Uh-huh,
and it's on the YouTube.
okay.
So you can always watch
You
it on the
can
TV.
catch up with the old morning news.
Yeah, what the morning service was.
Right,
So
okay.
that way I get fed that way too, so I get double fed, the nighttime,
Okay.
and what the morning service was all about.
All right.
So I keep up with my lesson.
Right.
Okay, so the next one is missionary stories. I'd like to see if we can incorporate the missionary story with junior church. Missionary stories is not reading the whole, I just brought this, but this is not the actual missionary story, but they're similar to this, but it's not reading the whole story to them because you're gonna be there forever and it's gonna take up the space of the Bible story. The missionary stories are only to be used as cliffhangers, if you know what a cliffhanger is. Okay, so all it is you begin the first page, whatever it is, the story, the first page, and in this case, you would just give them the story and they say, and then you stop. And they're like, well, what's gonna happen? If you come back next week,
Keep them
we
in suspense.
continue, and the next teacher continues. And so, this one is a very short one, but do you see what I'm saying? So it's just to continue to keep them engaged in their
Sure.
interest. So this should take no more than 5 minutes, 6 minutes at the most, short. That's how we use missionary stories. By the end of the month, they should already have learned about a missionary story. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
And so different missionaries, so we have different books, so we can just start off with this month, we'll do
And then
this
the
one.
teacher next week will pick up on that
Pick up where
missionary
you
story.
left off,
Okay.
and then just continue. But that's only junior church. This would be overwhelming for the little kids. It's just way too much stuff, so we'll eliminate that. So it's only for you guys.
Okay.
Okay. Play area. That's been an issue, the play area. There is a play area, if you guys are aware, in the trailer. It was designed for the younger kids. The kids can use it, but the problem is that they're leaving a mess. So if you are allowing your kids to go play in there, you gotta be responsible, make sure that they all pick up their toys and put everything back, because right now that play area is a mess again. The last time I taught, I made sure all the kids picked up everything. So whoever allowed their kids to go play in there did not pick up the toys.
All right.
So we gotta be responsible to make sure that those toys are picked up, okay? And then the trash, so yeah, so, that's coming up right there. Go down to locking up. Every time you teach in the trailers, you gotta adjust the AC to 85 degrees. Selena says, what if we just turn it off? We can't turn it off. The reason why, because they told me that the heat, the trailers get really, really hot and it's gonna start affecting the flooring. So they told us, do not turn it off. They said, keep it at a temperature where it's bearable. It's warm, but it's not so hot. Does that make sense? So that's why we gotta make sure we adjust the temperature to 85. Make sure you throw out your trash, sweep if you need to sweep, and then make sure you lock the door. Okay, so this is the website, CEFCMI.com gives you great tools that you can look at, videos. I don't know, let me see if I can click on one of them just real quick. Brother Mike took off on me.
Got the website
So-
on here somewhere?
It's here.
Yes, on the bottom,
The first page.
this inside page.
The insert.
Right on the
What?
bottom.
Okay, I see it, okay.
Where this book and magic.
Nice.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Sorry, how to use.
The green flannel space.
Oh, it's in the flannel.
It's a book.
Yeah.
That was not the right one.
Oh, the
It's
flannel?
okay, it's okay.
Okay.
I just thought, this is just.
Welcome to Teaching to Transform, a seminar series for teachers produced by the Children's Ministries Institute. The Children's Ministries Institute has provided innovative training for leaders in children's ministry around the world for over 60 years. Its serious, practical, and effective approach provides useful instruction on how to effectively teach children and successfully lead a children's ministry. The Children's Ministries Institute is a ministry of Child Evangelism Fellowship. We would like to thank you for taking the time to listen to this seminar series. Our prayer is that this training would better equip you to reach the children God has placed around you.
My name is Dave Batchelder, and I'm a leadership training instructor for the Children's Ministries Institute, a ministry of Child Evangelism Fellowship. Have you ever thought of discipline as a tool to growth? Usually we think of negative words such as frustration, rules, stress, or behavior problems. But in reality, it's just the opposite if applied properly. Author Benjamin DeJong said this: "No horse gets anywhere until it is harnessed. No steam or gas ever drives anything until it is confined. No Niagara is ever turned into light and power until it is tunneled. No life ever grows great until it is focused, dedicated, and disciplined." The dictionary defines discipline as a training, especially training of the mind and character. The implication is that discipline then is not just correction, but real discipline reaches the mind, emotions, and will of the child. Even the scripture refers to discipline. In Hebrews chapter 12, verse 11, we read, "Now no chastening for the present seemeth to be joyous, but grievous. Nevertheless, afterward it yieldeth the peaceable fruit of righteousness." If discipline then is important for growth and should impact the mind and character and does yield the peaceful fruit of righteousness, what should it look like in the classroom? Let's take the word discipline itself and see if we can find some applicable truths you can use when it comes to your classroom. First, discover your students. Each one of them are individuals. Every child is different, and the way you respond to them can spell success or disaster. For instance, if you discipline a very shy child in front of the entire classroom, they will probably not want to return. If you discipline a child who is very detail-oriented, but have not explained the rules carefully, you will frustrate them. What are the basic age characteristics of children? For instance, what can they learn and understand? Are they able to read? How much can they read? This will give you a clue as to what you can share or teach with them or ask them to do in the classroom. Consider their different needs and responses. This is probably one of the most important things you can do with children. When you think about the Lord Jesus, remember the woman at the well? He knew what she needed. He knew what the rich young ruler needed. He understood the needs of Mary and Martha. Of course, we are not Jesus, but we can learn to meet needs by taking a sincere interest in the children we teach. Become familiar with them. This would include things like their interests, their ambitions, level of maturity, likes, dislikes. Ask yourself this one question: what do I really know about the children in my class? Have you taken time to find out some key things about them? A friend suggested this, that you keep a journal. Some of you do this with your own personal life. But think about what it can help you with the children. You can keep track of prayer requests, problems that a specific child may have. You can write down birthdays and other information that will help you to really understand that child in a very personal way. Sometimes just by commenting to kids about things they're going through or saying something about their birthday makes them feel that you really care for them. Another area is to intercede for them. Prayer is the most powerful solution in any of our problems. And we want to pray for these children faithfully. Sometimes when you have lots of